Right. A little bit of a different lighting setup. Hopefully you guys can see pretty good now. Get a bit more lit up. A little bit of a working area. So, again, excuse the helicopter helicopter noise today. They are flying a lot. But welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do one last carving here. One last little business on the front and on the back too, and then we'll get to finishing them probably this weekend. We'll finish them up. So, but grab your beverage for the carving session. We got some Twinings apple spiced chai in my favorite mug, and my wife asked me if there was anything specific I wanted her to make for our church group tonight, and I told her white chocolate macadamia nut cookies with cranberries in them. So she found a recipe, and oh boy, these are good. Look at that. Yeah. What a cookie, huh? So, excuse my chomping noises, but we'll be snacking on this throughout the video with our hot beverage here. But, so today I got a haircut. Finally. Probably been a month or two since I got a haircut, because I've been on leave for a while. My wife and I had our first child, so we have been caring for our newborn last month or two. It's been quite a blessing to experience parenthood for the first time. You know, you help raise other people's children. You know, you babysit and you help out whenever they ask and whatnot. But you know, you get good amount of experience with that. And then I also have a good amount of experience with my sister's kids. Both of my sisters have children that I helped take care of a little bit. So I'm not a green thumb when it comes to changing diapers or taking care of a baby, but boy, oh boy, is it different when it's yours. Phew, there is a difference. I'll say the biggest difference is, do I mind changing the diapers? No. When it wasn't my kid, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll change your diaper or whatever, but it was annoying. Now it's my kid, and I'm like, it does not bother me in the slightest, and I don't understand. Some guys have such an issue with that. And some girls, comment what you think, but I specifically guys, I've talked to quite a lot of guys, and they're just weird about changing diapers, and I don't understand why. It's your child, your responsibility to help take care of that child, So, why not change a diaper? So, I enjoy taking care of my child. As you can see, this one's got quite a rough grain, a lot of little holes and whatnot going in it. And this got this piece of lead right here. I was trying to dig it out a while back, and it looks like a little like shotgun shot, like that size little little pellets from like a birdshot round from a shotgun. And my theory is that there were some guys out in the fields, in the olive tree fields, taking care of, the bird problem or the pests, that they were eating the olives or something like that. And they were shooting the birds, and a stray round got stuck in the tree. But it is definitely a little chunk of lead. Yeah, I'm going to carve it. I'm going to carve right up to it, and I'm going to see if I can keep it in there, because I kind of like it. And you can see how the tree grew around it, too. So it was deep in there, enough to get growth around it. So, yeah. Sharpened the tool up. Let's get our gloves on, and let's get carving. So I was thinking today, I don't even know what I was thinking, but let's just get carving. Let's do this side first. Save that other side for the end. Oh, I know what I was thinking. So I was thinking about the channel. So I was thinking about just doing whatever I like, just fun stuff here and there. Carving here, carving there, having conversations, talking. And I was thinking about writing little scripts or some kind of, at least some topic cards, so that I'm not just sitting here rambling. But I got thinking about that, because whenever I hang out with friends and family, I don't sit down with topic cards and have conversations like that, Conversation just flows naturally. And I was thinking about that the other day, when we went and visited our friends with the new baby, and it was really fun. I was thinking about how we, as a culture and as a community of humans, we just sit and we conversate together, and conversation sparks itself, and, the thing is, nowadays, and I noticed this hanging out with some of my younger friends, and my wife is going to say I sound really old by saying this, but I felt this way when I was hanging out with some of my younger friends, my neighbors, and some other people. If my neighbors are watching this, don't get mad at me, because you heard me. I'm not dropping names or anything, and nobody knows where I live. Unless someone's going to hack my IP, and then they're going to find where I live, whatever. I live on base. It's not a lot you can find about me. But it's not a challenge. Don't go trying to hack me. Anyways, I go off on a tangent. I'm just rambling. Anyways, I was thinking about conversation. How it flows naturally and or unnaturally when you're in a new group of unknown individuals, but then conversation kind of sparks itself, and you all start to speak to each other differently once you get to know each other. You find out commonalities and you discuss that. I really enjoy that about conversation. One thing I found, this is what I was getting about with my younger friends. One thing I found out, not even younger friends, older friends too, that are just less aware of what they're doing, but they pick up their phone in the middle of the conversation. It's an automatic mental, physical response to just pick up your phone the second the conversation starts to die down. And me, being the individual with the flip phone, usually I don't pull it out in conversations unless I'm using it as a conversation starter, which you can imagine it is quite a conversation starter. If that conversation has been started, usually the crowd, the gathering of individuals has a little bit more awareness of their usage. after that conversation, their usage of technology. And so I don't have to worry about my friends pulling out their phones while I'm talking to them. But if we don't have that conversation, right? We're sitting there and, see, I messed that one up right there. Yeah, whatever, we can carve it out. Or we can keep it in and it'll be a nice little character. I notice you start having conversations with these people. These people being any people, really, nowadays. And they pull their phones out the minute the conversation starts to die, and they pull up their favorite little whatchamacallit app that they want to fill their mind with a little bit of worldly noise, and they just start scrolling, you know? They just start going at it, and I sit there and I watch them. The other day I was watching, and they didn't realize I was looking at them, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what are they doing? And it hit me that smart devices have become a real addiction across the whole of humanity, where we kind of flee to a device to fill our time when there's downtime. And there's not a lot of quiet reflection time anymore around a conversation. And that's one thing I found when I'm in a circle of like-minded individuals where we have a clear understanding of where we are on our, social media usage and our technological usage, and we just kind of sit there and then you notice these people that are around you, we're all sitting there kind of reflecting on what we've talked about so far, instead of pulling your phone out immediately the minute the conversation dies to scroll on some unknown page of whatever suits your fancy. You name it. I was just thinking about this earlier. So when I went and got a haircut, sat down in the little waiting area, there was only a couple of people getting their haircut, so it wasn't terribly long. I think I waited 5 minutes or something. It's very short. Just getting my haircut on base, a little cheap haircut, nothing too big. I'm not one of those guys that go spend a bunch of money on a haircut. I'm just getting a fade. I will tip well if they do a good job. If they do what I ask them to do, which is just give me a good haircut. But anyways, getting off track again. I sat there, just sat down in my seat, and I didn't pull my phone out, my flip phone. I did not pull my phone out. I just checked the time on my watch the minute I sat down, just to have some awareness of where I'm at in our little day that we got going on here today. And I checked the time on my watch, looked up, and looked around, and then I just started observing. And this is the challenge that I give a lot of my friends when they're talking to me about their struggles, and they start telling me, Jacob, I'm really struggling with this, and I'm struggling with anxiety, and I'm struggling with depression, and I'm struggling with this. Most of the time, I will say, I'm right there with you, brother. I am struggling with the exact same thing. But when I'm having my good days, like today, where I was actually able to get out of the house, I was actually able to sit down for long enough to get a haircut and observe the people around me. They are so sucked in to their smart devices. They are just so consumed by it. And it's not just the young people. This is the thing that gets me. I'm starting to see even the older people. I'm talking 50s, 60s, 70s. There was an old gentleman once when I was getting my haircut a couple of months ago. He pulled out his smartphone, and he had to be in his 80s. Easily. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, and I'm like, now, I'm not judging on the pure fact of like their technological usage. I'm observing their automatic physical and emotional response to a non-stimulating environment. That is purely observation, no judgment. And I view it and I'm like, huh. So then you could take it upon yourself. I don't usually, but I will challenge you guys. Take it upon yourselves when you go out. Number one, don't pick up your phone when you sit down in a non-stimulating environment where you have to wait. Say the line at the grocery store. Everybody's got to wait in line for a couple of minutes. Okay? Keep your phone in your pocket. Leave your phone in your car, unless you got your shopping list on there. You do what you want. But keep your phone there, wherever it is in your pocket, and just look around you. Look at all the displays, all of the people, all the advertisements. If you're outside, color of the sky. Now I tell you what, if you start looking at the color of the sky every time you walk out of your door, you're going to notice that there's a bunch of different colors up there, and it's pretty cool. And a lot of people, and I talk to friends about this. See, I don't know if you can see that shiny right there. I kind of nicked it. We'll get to it again. It's definitely lead. It's not steel. It's way too soft to be steel. It's not rusty either. Anyways, talk to my friends, and I tell them, one thing I love to do when I'm having a real reflective day is I go to a coffee shop, and I sit down, I order a black cup of coffee or whatever I'm feeling that day. I sit down. Usually, on those kinds of days, I strike up a conversation with the individual who is giving me my coffee, because I want to know what kind of individual is working that day. Because if I'm going to spend some time there at that store, that coffee shop, I want to know what kind of individual is going to be sitting behind the counter, aware of their surroundings. Yeah, that's definitely very shiny. That's definitely lead. The way it shined up when you scraped it like that. I wonder if I got little pieces of lead on me. Anyways, I sit down at the coffee shop, have a conversation with the barista before I get my coffee. Just, hey, how's it going? Busy day? Calm day? And then they'll tell me how their day's going, and I ask them how they're doing. And I lock eye contact with them for a split second. Again, this is on my good days. I like to lock eye contact when I ask that question, so they know I'm being real. Because everybody just goes, oh, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, I'm okay. I'm doing fine, you know. Turns out they're not doing fine. They're tired. They've got so much on their minds, and they're stuck at work, and, you know, all sorts of things. So if I can take 2 seconds of their time to say, I look at their name tag and I say, oh, so and so, how are you actually doing? And I ask in a very soft manner, a soft tone, inviting a response, and I say, how are you doing? How are you really doing? And I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, you get a real response. I'm tired. I've been working here since 6 in the morning, and it's 2 in the afternoon, and I have only had 1 break. And I didn't sleep much last night because I was studying for an exam that I got this coming up week. And I ask them, oh, so you're a student right now? And they're like, yeah, I'm studying for this. And I say, oh, how do you like that? Well, you know, it's not exactly what I thought it was, but it's getting there, it's fulfilling. I'm like, are the studies fulfilling? Or are the ambitions of the future fulfilling? That's why I always ask them that if they're a student. Because I want to make sure that they reflect. Because there's a lot of people that get stuck in the school system, college system, where get so sucked up in the classroom experience and making sure that they're, getting their exams done and whatnot, but that they're not even paying attention to the fact that they're going into a work environment that they are training for, hopefully training for. They're getting a degree in something. Hopefully they're going to go into the workforce and use that degree. Unless they just like going to school, then more power to you. Go to school. I always ask them, do you like the studies or do you like the subject? The overarching major that you are studying. Oh, actually, I haven't thought about that. I've been so sucked up in my classes. And then I say, well, there you go. You got something to think about. Hopefully you have a good day. Hopefully it's not too busy the rest of the day. Just to let you know, I'm going to sit down at that table over there with my cup of coffee and watch and observe for a little while. If you need to have a conversation and you get a break, come on over and talk. Now that invitation I have not had anybody take up. I don't know if it's just because it's pretty forward of me to say, if you have your break time, your precious break time. Now I know a barista, especially in a pretty busy area like Southern California. You're busy from the minute that door opens to the minute that the last customer leaves and you lock the door. Usually you are busy all the way through the day. Now, if they actually take up that offer to take some of their precious break time, their personal break time, to come and sit down and talk to me, I would drop everything to have a conversation, just a 5-minute conversation, to let that person open up and talk to me. Just man or woman, whatever your lifestyle is, whatever your decisions are, whatever your past, whatever your future is, sit down, talk to me. Oh my goodness, I'd love that. And again, on my good days, I would love that. On my bad days, I'd get my coffee and I'd walk out of there. Or I wouldn't even be out because I wouldn't be getting coffee. I'd make coffee at home. But I'd sit down and I would have that conversation in a heartbeat if someone said, you know what, I'm going on my break right now. I have never had anybody take up that offer, and I'm waiting for it. Now, this is something that I pray to God about. I pray, Lord, if it's within your will today for someone to sit down and talk to me, give me the wisdom and the courage and the words to talk to them, to hear what they have to say, and to give them a genuine and loving response back to them, to feel listened to. Because I'll tell you what, in my past, in my history, I wish so much that someone would have just said, hey Jacob, want to sit down and talk? What are you going through? Not a lot of people did that. And the people that did, you know who you are. And I appreciate you. But I'm talking about the unknown people. Now I know my family loves me. And I know my wife loves me, absolutely. And they always offer to sit down and talk to me. And I will always sit down and talk to them, most of the time. But when it comes to a stranger, just a random person who just has the kindness, the patience, and the time, and this is the one thing, I always go to a store, coffee shop, I always make sure I'm not in a rush. If I'm going in there to sit down, always make sure I'm not in a rush. And I tell the barista or whoever, like when I went in to get my hair cut today, there wasn't a lot of people in there, but I said, hey, this is what I'd like. And she said, I can do that. And I said, I am not in a rush, so take your time. Go as slow as you can, slow as you want to feel at most comfortable. And we'll have a good time. And I could see her reaction physically to me saying, take your time, I am not in a rush. I truly meant it. I do not walk into somewhere to get a service and I'm not impatient. I'm never impatient because I know I'm asking for something from them. So I need to be caring and loving and be patient with them. Now, obviously, I would expect a certain time frame to be met. Half hour for a haircut is a decent time. It is a decent chunk of time. Now, I've gotten a haircut in 10 minutes, but that's a quick haircut, and it's usually not the best. I picked up a little lead here. It's definitely lead. It's interesting. What was I saying? Yeah, I've had quick haircuts. That wasn't me going in there and saying, I'm in a rush. Hurry up. No, absolutely not. I've never said that. Even when I go in for an oil change, if I'm going to pay someone to change my oil, I go in and I say, hey, I brought my book. Take your time. Hour, 2 hours later, they're like, hey, your car's ready. Thank you so much for letting us know that to take our time. We had another car that needed some extra hands, so we took their time to get some quality work done, and then we fixed your car. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. To take your time, to not feel rushed. Because I don't want you to feel rushed on my vehicle and forget something, Same thing with my haircut. I don't want you to feel rushed and cut my hair weird. Same thing with my coffee. Same thing with my food. If I ever go out to a restaurant, oh my goodness, I'll tell you what. The amount of times that I've gone to a restaurant and the table next to me is a bunch of impatient, rude people, and I sit there and I look at them and I'm praying in my head. I'm like, Lord, just give them patience. Give them patience. Open their eyes and let them see the server that we're dealing with right now. The server that we have tonight is so stressed out because of the amount of people that are in this restaurant. And I always tell the service individual that we get, take your time, we are not in a rush. If we are the last table that you come to, so be it. You're still getting a nice tip from me. I will never tip differently. Now, if I get a rude server, I'm patient with them, and I sit there and I reflect on maybe why they are being rude. Are they just rude people? Probably not. Are they impatient because of the amount of people that are in there being impatient with them? Probably. Have they been having issues with the kitchen all night, and the kitchen's been bringing out the wrong food or the incorrectly prepared food, and the tables have just been all going off on the service individuals? Probably. Observe the people around you and see what's going on. Don't just automatically think that they're being rude to you just to be rude. Most of the time, they're dealing with something. We've all dealt with something that's caused us to have short tempers and be impatient. And there is absolutely no reason for an individual coming in to ask for a service from another individual and then be impatient and rude with that individual. Absolutely no reason. I'm asking for something from them. Why would I be impatient? I should be caring and loving and saying, thank you for the service you're providing me. Thank you for the food you brought to my table in a reasonable manner. And if it wasn't a reasonable manner, I look around and I figure out, okay, maybe something's going on that I don't know. Maybe the kitchen just caught on fire and they've been dealing with that for the last 2 hours. I don't know. And it's not my place to know all the time, but it is my place as a Christ follower and as a lover of Jesus to sit down and love people, no matter what. Stand up and love people, wherever I'm at. Especially if they are sitting there, standing there, walking around, doing whatever they're doing, and you can see that they're having a hard time. That is my spot. That is my opportunity to sit, take a moment, and reflect, and say, Lord, how can I love this individual in their time of need? And then I watch and I observe. And then when it's my turn to interact with that individual, I go, hey, are you okay? When someone hears the question, are you okay? And it's not just, oh, hey, how you doing? No, not that. It is straight eye contact and, are you okay? With a concerned voice and genuine care, they will react exactly how you think they will. Exactly how you would react if someone asked you, "Are you okay?" Honestly, there are times in my past that if someone would have asked me that, I would have broke down in tears. Or I would have started tearing up and said, "Excuse me, thank you so much for asking, but I need to step out." Because I don't like crying in front of people. But that's changed in the last couple of years. I've definitely started crying more. Definitely started feeling my emotions a little more recently, which is a good thing. Because I have been blocking my emotions for a long, long time, and that has caused quite a lot of issues in my life. So, if you take anything from this little carving session, well, number one, look for lead in your olive wood. Might tell an interesting story. Number two, wear your gloves. And number three, care for the people around you even when you don't think they need to be cared for. Especially when they're not caring for you. Because those people, especially the ones that are short with you, those are the ones that need it the most. Those are the ones that need that patience from you, that caring love, that concern question, and that listening and that quiet response. So, alright. This is the last one for now. We'll get this all cleaned up. Next video, we're going to be... Let's see here. Here's all of them right here. So the next video will be at the bench. And we will we'll line them all up and we'll sand them down and we'll finish them. And we'll do a little bit of hand sanding, maybe a little bit of machine sanding. I'm going to try out a machine sand on one of these, probably this one here with the crack across it, just in case it breaks. A little bit of machine sanding, see how the product comes out, and then give them to the people that I feel that need them. Definitely want to give a couple of friends. I feel like this is a good physical reminder and a good reflection time. Something to put in your hand, you know. You just put that in your hand after it's all smooth and shiny and oiled up, and you can see the grain and you can follow the pattern with your finger. You just kind of sit there and quietly reflect. It is a good reflection tool, I'll tell you that. Alright, thanks for joining me this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed your hot beverage. If not, pause the video, go make one, and then go back and watch the other videos. You'll see all the rest of these being carved out, and then we'll see you in the next video to finish these up. Thanks for watching.